It was one of the busiest nights the restaurant had seen in weeks. The room was alive. Plates clinked, glasses touched, conversations filled the air. Warm lights hung above wooden tables while waiters moved quickly between guests. Laughter echoed from one corner. A couple celebrated quietly in another. Everything felt normal, peaceful, until suddenly, a loud voice cut through the noise. "My wallet is gone!" The woman's voice trembled with anger. Chairs scraped the floor as people turned. Forks paused halfway to mouths. The entire restaurant went silent. "Someone took my wallet!" Her eyes scanned the room, searching, suspicious, demanding answers. Slowly, heads began turning, eyes searching, until they stopped on one person, a young waiter standing across the room, Daniel. He held a tray in his hands, frozen in place. Every eye in the restaurant was now staring at him. Daniel looked confused. He hadn't said a word. He hadn't moved, but the whispers had already begun. People exchanged looks. Suspicion spreads faster than truth, and in moments, the entire room had already decided who was guilty. Two guests leaned toward each other. "I saw him pass by earlier. Waiters see everything, easy opportunity. Maybe he thought no one would notice." The whispers grew louder, each sentence stronger than the last, and with every word, Daniel's silence felt heavier. The woman pointed directly at him. "You!" Her voice echoed across the room. "You were near our table." Daniel blinked, surprised. I was serving food." But the crowd had already chosen a side. Accusations are loud. Truth often arrives quietly. The restaurant manager rushed over. "What's going on?" The woman spoke quickly. "My wallet disappeared, and he was the only one near us." The manager turned toward Daniel. The entire restaurant waited for his answer. "Daniel," the manager asked calmly, "did you see anything?" Daniel shook his head. "No, sir." The room filled with murmurs. "That sounds suspicious. If he didn't take it, where is it?" Daniel stood quietly, listening, being judged by strangers. Finally, Daniel spoke softly. "You can check." Slowly, he reached into his pockets. Coins, keys, a small notebook, nothing more. Everything placed carefully on the table. But the whispers didn't stop, because suspicion doesn't disappear easily. People stared, some with anger, some with doubt, others with curiosity, but none of them knew Daniel. They only knew the accusation, and sometimes that is enough for people to judge. The manager looked at the table. Coins, keys, notebook, nothing that resembled a wallet. He rubbed his forehead. Something didn't feel right, but the room was restless, waiting for a conclusion. Daniel's eyes moved slowly around the room, the floor, the chairs, the tables. Then suddenly, he noticed something, a small shape near the leg of a chair, half hidden in shadow. Daniel bent down quietly, reached beneath the chair, and picked something up, a wallet. The entire restaurant gasped. The woman stepped forward quickly. She snatched the wallet from his hand, opened it. Her fingers trembled slightly. The entire restaurant leaned closer, waiting, watching, judging. She checked the money, the cards, the pockets. Everything was there. Nothing was missing. The room fell quiet again, but this time the silence felt different. Then something slipped from the wallet, a small photograph. It landed on the table. Someone picked it up, and suddenly everything changed. The photograph showed a boy standing beside Daniel outside a hospital. The boy was smiling, holding Daniel's hand, and suddenly the restaurant understood. "That's my son.
He's been in the hospital for weeks. I work double shifts to pay the medical bills. No anger, no defense, just truth. The photograph showed a moment of hope. A father, a son, a hospital behind them, a smile that hid pain. And suddenly, the accusations felt heavy. The woman stared at the photograph, her eyes filled with tears. Her voice was gone. Moments earlier, she had shouted. Now, she could barely speak. "I'm sorry." The words came slowly, quietly. She lowered her head. "I should have waited. I should have asked." But Daniel simply nodded. Daniel didn't argue. He didn't complain. He didn't demand an apology. Instead, he picked up his tray and returned to work, as if nothing had happened. The manager watched silently, thinking. How quickly people judge, how easily reputations can be damaged, and how slowly truth arrives. Later that night, the restaurant was empty, chairs stacked, lights dim, but the lesson remained. Sometimes, the loudest accusations come from the people who know the least. Before you judge someone, make sure you know the whole story.